Hello everybody and welcome to Stuck is Lava for another exciting tournament. I want to remind everybody that this tournament is proxy friendly, so you may see some cards that are not exactly cards. But other than this, we like to have fun, we like to make the stack go on fire, and that's our main purpose. On the today tournament we can see Bjorn with UV Control and Marek with Affinity. Two very strong and powerful decks, and also two very good players. We're gonna see. Deciding for how to start. They keep their hands. Oh yeah, we also had some issues with the recording today, so it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be fine. Nice, this is the initial hand, you can see it below. Flooded Strand, pass. Urza Saga, and we start the dance. We have Springleaf Drum, Tormund Crypt, and Mox Opal. Oh well. Affinity being Affinity. Surveilling for Bjorn. He keeps on top. Another fetch land, pass the turn. Saga Chapter 2. From now on, Marek can make construct. Affinity became very different deck compared to what it was 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a long time ago. But compared to before, it's way more solid and stable. Still suffers from artifact hates, but that's probably something that never gonna get fixed, because otherwise the deck would be too powerful. In the meantime, he played Sinks into Stupor as a land, so he also took 3 points of damage. And for 2 manas, tapping also the Urza Saga, he makes a construct. And we have the tokens. He uses the Springleaf Drum to make 1 blue mana to cast Topdecks, drawing 2. This is a very classic Affinity card. Fetching for 1. Meticulous Archive. Surveil again. So this makes us think that probably Bjorn is looking for a solution for all of those cards on the battlefield. Could be. I very much rather surveilling just when I need something, not just for the sake of surveilling. I think that in the very first turns, it depends on what kind of hand did you keep. Maybe it's better to use the surveillance wisely, like if you need to fix something. We have another Sink into Stupor played as a land, and Narset. Narset is a very fun and nice card at this point of the game. Like, it's not exactly what Affinity is scared about, but they cannot draw more than 1 card per turn. So basically their first card for turn can be drawn, the rest cannot. -2 Narset can look the top cards of the library, and Bjorn decided to take a Teferi, which is another big problem for many decks, but I don't think it's going to be a problem for Affinity at this point. Also, it would have been better if that Narset was out during the Thoughtcast from before. Solitude on the construct. Bjorn really wants for that Narset to survive. Marek draws a card. Saga triggers, goes to chapter 3. Or it's gonna go, yeah, exactly. He is deciding what to do with the Saga trigger, because he can either have 1 mana floating, or he can make a construct, and he decides to make a construct in this case. Life is 21 for Marek, 15 for Bjorn. The construct was made, and now he is searching his deck for an artifact cost 1 or 0. There we go, Lava Spur Boots. Given the Saga search, these boots became pretty popular in the Urza Sagas deck, because they can give ward, which is not bad, and haste to the construct. So basically, even though they got into play this turn, they can also attack. Another Urza Saga. Allowing to equip the boots on the just made construct, which is quite big. It's 5. It's a 5/5 hitting Narset. Bye bye Narset. Another Mox Opal, sacrificing the previous one, legendary rule. Thoughtcast again. That's sick value for Affinity. Affinity passes the turn. Bjorn is probably thinking how to get out of this mess. It's not the worst situation, but it has to be handled somehow. But I mean, we know he drew the perfect answer at this point of the game. Does he also have a land? He has it. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Teferi. Teferi basically gets you to play fair magic in a way. You can play just in your turn as the opponent. Well, it's not that fair, because the owner of Teferi can play instants, it can play sorceries as an instant, so it's not that fair. But yeah, -2, he bounces the construct. And he pays 1 for the ward. So yes, he had an answer. No actual threats on the Marek side, so far at least, because he still has an Urza Saga on chapter 2. Paying 2, making a construct. Equipping the boots to the construct. Mishra Bubble. It's an 8/8. Directly to face. +7. +1, +0 from the boots. And for Bjorn, plussing the fairy. Bjorn is asking if they also give trample, but the answer is no. It's just haste and ward, and +1, +0. Maybe the first Solitude pitching another Solitude was not the best answer. Having another Solitude could have helped. Maybe not, but maybe yes. Fetching for 1. Taking 2 more. Teferone, Hero of Dominaria. With the +1, Teferone allows you to draw 1 card and then untapping 2 lands. Apparently, Bjorn was looking for an answer to that situation and he didn't find it. Oh well, too bad. It happens. Game 2 now. UV control is gonna be on the play. Fetch land pass. Steam Vents taking 2 damages. Double Memnite. Oh no, Steam Vents comes into play just tapped, no damage assigned. No shock for the land. Very nice and easy start for Affinity. Surveilling for Bjorn. Force of Negation to the graveyard. All of Storm Giants, a big manland that can become a problem in the late game, but for now it just enters untapped. It's basically a big island. The two Mem Knights beat. And then Urza Saga, Tormod Script, Thoughtcast. Counterspell, no draws for Marek. Flooded Strand. And it's Prismatic Ending on Urza Saga. We have a problem. Prismatic Ending doesn't target lands. And Urza Sagas count as a land. So not today. Fetch for Shockland. Hallowed Fountain. Narset again. -2. Browsing for a card. Those 4 cards should be on fire for having Bjorn thinking, oh yes, a board wipe is always good against Affinity. Supreme Verdict to Bjorn's hand. Saga goes chapter 2. Hitting Narset, 2 damages, Narset goes to 1, and Thoughtcast again, but no. When Narset is in play, just the first card of the turn can be drawn. So, oh well, too bad. Thinking. It's not an easy matchup for a control deck. Let's say you have to contain the very first turns in order to be able to win in the mid game. You don't have an explosive way of leading the game. Shockland tapped, passing the turn. On the upkeep, Orange Chant kicked, so no spells can be played, no attacks can be given. Ability can still be played. So Saga goes chapter 3. Marek can float a colorless, but I don't think he has any way to spend it. Or we will see at least. Springleaf Drum to still have more lands, but no attacks, still because of the Ore enchant. Three mana. Stock up in Bjorn's turn. Looking for the top 5 cards, adding 2 to your hand, to Bjorn's hand, and then the rest on the bottom. Any order. Pretty powerful card for just 3 mana. Did Bjorn find the answer he needs to let that Narset survive? Land. Wrath of the Skies, where X is gonna be 0, destroying the Memnites and destroying the Torment scripts. And Marek concedes there's no way he can get back from that. Especially because Thoughtcast cannot be casted. Or they can be casted, but they're not gonna draw any card. Game 3. And we can see a Kappa in Marek's hand. That card is devastating. Sink into Stupor, paying 3 life. Pinnacle Emissary, new from Edge of Eternities. It gave a very, very new start to this deck. Double Mishra Bubble. And 2 top tiers. So we have 5 artifacts. Pinnacle Emissary goes to exile in the Warp Zone. Land, pass. Another Sink into Stupor played as a land. And the Taro Kappa Cannoneer, huge, big, enormous, getting on the battlefield. Bjorn fetching for 1, it's very, very hard to get back from this situation with a Kappa on the battlefield turn 2. Like, you need an answer for that. It's gonna win the game. We have a problem because there was a little misplay. I gotta say that if I'm not wrong, this is the first time for Marek playing the deck, and probably he thinks that you can sacrifice the bubble with no cost, but you have to actually tap it. And the bubble was tapped in order to cast the Kappa Cannoneer. So this was a little misplay. Land for Björn. Wrath of the Sky is from 0 to get rid of the rest of the problems, but not to get rid of the Kappa Cannoneer. Still same mistake, that's why I think he doesn't know, or he didn't read properly the card. Mystical Dispute on top of Björn's library. So he gets to draw 2 because of the Mishra bubbles, but as I said, this was a little error that got unnoticed during the tournament. It's okay, it happens. I mean, it's not because of these 2 cards more that is gonna win the game, it's because of the Kappa on the battlefield. That one is a huge problem. The 2 cards more don't help at all, but that's another story. There we go, Steam Vents, Pinnacle Emissary, again from the space. And Kappa beats. And it beats hard. It wouldn't be that much of a problem if it was blockable, but every time the active player adds, or the owner of Kappa adds another artifact on the battlefield, it gets unblockable. I think that was a little bit too much. But yeah, basically the plan of Affinity is winning through Kappa or through Urza's Saga. Or Teferi. Teferi bouncing the Pinnacle Emissary. It's just to draw a card because it's not gonna give any big help against the big Tarto. I don't even think Marek cares about Teferi at this point. One blue. Pinnacle Emissary again. Kappa grows bigger. Ethereal Spell Bomb. Kappa grows bigger. And also up top there. Hitting for 8. It's Thoughtcast. Pinnacle Emissary is warped away. Land for Bjorn. Teferi goes to 2. Passing the turn. Cap and taps. Ready to beat. Thoughtcast again. Marek draws 2. Combat. Swinging for 9. 8 from Kappa, 1 from the top there. Bjorn fetches. Does he have another basic land? Does he have an answer? Maybe a Supreme Verdict? No. Subtlety, hard-casted, just to block the Kappa Cannoneer, because Marek didn't play any artifact in this turn, but having to fetch for Shockland got him to 1 life point, and there was 1 top turn left that was still beating and dealing the last point of damage. No luck, no luck. Oh, and the Supreme Verdict was on top of the library. Just 1 more turn to survive, but no. Unlucky Bjorn and super powerful start for Marek with Affinity. I think that High Noon is very slow for the Affinity match, because you have to pay 2 to cast it, but basically either if you're on the play or if you're on the draw, the first turn for Affinity can be devastating anyway. So casting 1 spell after the first turn, I think it's not much of a big deal for Affinity. It's the first turn that really counts. And the rest of the sideboard is Mystical Dispute, that would have been very, very, very nice against that Kappa, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Siding out Teferone, Hero of the Minaria, just because it's very slow.